Joining me for reaction now is John Torres, a former acting director of ICE during the George W. Bush administration, and immigration attorney Allen Orr. Gentlemen, it's tough stuff here. ICE and protests, shut down ICE, reform ICE. Allen, you're a Democrat. You're an immigration attorney. Protesting ICE when ICE is doing, I mean, frankly, God's work on this violent crime stuff. And this officer's family, they're devastated. Legal immigrant, almost killed him. Still not out of the woods yet. Your reaction?
Okay, so first on the specific case of the police officer, this is a APRA story. It really doesn't happen that often. Really,
it doesn't happen that often?
Nope.
Is one police officer not too many? Well, one American dead is not too many?
It's an anomaly. So
it's an anomaly?
Yeah.
If that were, remember, your family, would you call that victim an anomaly?
Absolutely not.
You would not, right.
So
don't
accident.
Call a police officer an anomaly.
Well,
That's a police officer.
I was calling the situation an anomaly. And actually, when a foreign national is involved in one of these incidents, a foreign national is 10 times less likely to be involved in the crime than anyone else.
Statistic
and the concern around ICE is not with regards to what ICE is doing, but who ICE is concentrating on. And right now, ICE isn't concentrating on those individuals, such as the one that you talked about, the police case. They're doing low-hanging fruit. They're arresting people who are appearing to court to either testify in a crime, or people who are appearing to their ICE hearings, or people who are just going to work day to day. So ICE really isn't focusing on the level that they're supposed to be doing to protect security nationwide. That's the concern about ICE.
Here's some facts. ICE arrests are rising. You say they're not doing real criminal arrests, and John, you can comment on this. Fiscal year 2018 thus far, 675 criminal arrests versus last year, 139. Seems like a five-fold increase to me. That's pretty good. Administrative arrests, 984, 172 in 2017. So they're doing both, doing admin arrests, criminal arrests. John, you were doing it. I mean, I get very emotional about this. I've always, as a criminal defense attorney, always suspicious of prosecutors. That's kind of my background. But when a police officer, a child, a woman, domestic abuse, child abuse, human trafficking, the things that we've seen done, I can't countenance. I can't abide by it. Anomaly, not anomaly. We shouldn't have one American brutalized by someone who shouldn't be in here. They shouldn't be here. John.
Laura, I've been seeing this criticism for my entire career. I can think of a number of times where a police officer has been shot, and not only were they shot and killed or seriously wounded, but it was because they were in a community where they were not cooperating with ICE. And the police department ignored an ICE warrant, an immigration detainer, and then let the person walk out of their jail. That same person later on goes and shoots a police officer, and next thing you know, we're getting calls from the city saying, hey, can you come in here and set up cooperation with us? We want to work, especially with the criminals on you. Well, let's talk about those criminals. Last year, ICE arrested almost 33,000 people on criminal charges. They rescued or identified over 500 child victims of predators. They identified or rescued almost 1,000 people related to human trafficking, not talking about even the thousands of gang members that they arrest every year, or the 1 million pounds of illicit narcotics that they seize every year, or the nearly $500 million that they seize in illicit financing. Yep. They do a lot more work than just immigration, and right. It's sad to me that the fine agents of ICE and Homeland Security investigations get painted with the broad brush. They get accused of being
Well,
Gestapo,
it's very emotional, though, John. You got families, mothers crying, separated from their children. The images are very heart-wrenching for Americans to see. I'm a mother. I don't want to see mom separated. And so that does play on the other side. And I think people are like, oh, ICE, these bad guys, let the family stay together. So that's part of the narrative.
That's not a play, though, right? Because once again, we're talking about the same thoughts that you were talking about with the police officer. Those are families. That's a woman's child. So those are the same.
Right. What about the children in Nigeria who want to be here? And they have to wait and do it the legal way, right? Like, we can play that game all day long, Alan.
Well, it's not a game because they're not here. We're talking about people who are actually here.
Okay, but they broke our law. The people in Nigeria are applying legally to come here. And they're waiting in line.
Individuals, it's very important to understand that asylum is a legal process. All of those individuals who are separated.
None of it's fraud in your mind.
There may be some fraud involved in it. But right now, those individuals are entering the lawful way, so they require due process. You don't take a child away from a family, then say, let me see if you're able to have the family. You would have to say due process.
Do you think they should be deported together back to their home country, or do you think children should stay behind? I saw that argument made today by the ACLUs that some children should have their cases litigated separately from their parents, which seems to fly in the face of family unification. Do you agree?
I didn't see that specific case, but I don't think that they should have been separated in the first place. There should have been a total process where they came in, were able to file for asylum. They were either released.
Should they get
or tagged.
Obamacare in the first month that they're here?
None of those individuals, there's no proof behind the fact that people are getting Obamacare.
Oh, should they? I'm asking you a question. I mean, if we're really going to be compassionate, Obamacare, recreational facilities, all those, I mean, should they get those?
I believe whatever benefits we give to individuals that we haven't should be afforded to them, which we're already doing. It's $40 million so far.
I just want to know, like how much are you willing to spend on this? Luis Enrique Monroy Bracamontes, 37 years old, 2014, killed 2 California police officers. He laughed when he was being sentenced. He looked into the cameras that were there and he laughed. He knew exactly what he was doing. I remember that case, and it was brutal.
And he said
Shot him in the head.
Killed more. He wants to kill more.
And he said he wanted to kill more. So the idea is an anomaly.
But what's important is that all of those cases, the fact that the person was undocumented is not an inherent part of the crime. It happens all the time that in the U.S., police let people go who later go on to do violent things. It's happened in a couple of police shootings. I mean, school shootings recently.
Right.
So those facts are the same. So it's not inherent.
No.
The problem with releasing individuals is not inherent to the immigration question.
They shouldn't be in the country in the first place. You do not have a universal right to emigrate to the United States illegally. I know some people believe that, but there just is no universal right. Our framers didn't intend it. Our founders didn't intend it. The Declaration, the Constitution. There is a legal process. And if you don't follow the legal process, you end up in criminal activity. You should be banished from the country, and frankly, you should never be able to come back to this country.
But the problem is that Congress hasn't done anything for 10 years.
Oh, there's
or
laws on the
years,
books. There's laws.
But they have enforced these laws, right?
They should do more. Look, there's heartbreaking stories out there around the world. Everybody wants to come here. Not everyone. A lot of people want to come here. Can't bring everyone. Even Bill Clinton, even Obama said that. Can't bring everyone. It's got to be a process. Great conversation. Didn't mean to jump on you there, but it's an issue we all care about. Student or spy. An incredible case of potential espionage